And what a shot from Kirica, taking that off the ceiling, underneath the ball, and straight down the middle.
Oh, there it is, out of the blue!
2 seconds left on the clock and the Joker finds something out of nothing!
Now, that pass from Shadow was immaculate, playing it straight down center. He just had to get a touch, and it's all he needed.
Sonic has a chance, it's an open net if he sees it. Looking for the shot downfield, goes into corner, Kilogram! He gets the goal!
But just in front of the net, Nuke barely keeps it out there, dies on the goal line. The last shot, it finds it through, instantly gonna pick it up.
Season 3 is underway. I cannot believe we are here. It has felt like an interminably long period of planning, but RSC Season 3, our biggest season ever, is officially underway. And I am Greybeard, and to get it all started with me is TheBromeo.
I mean, the triple commit is here. I am so damn excited. It has been a long, long road, and it feels like forever since Season 2 ended, even though it was just a couple months ago. And here we are now, on the eve of some great things.
So, this is where we stand. Sign-ups are still open, but with 6 days to go before sign-ups close, we have 245 players signed up. We had 250 last season, so we are going to smash last season's numbers, and which I think is it portends good things for what the season is going to bring, Bromeo, because it all seems already bigger than seasons 1 and 2.
Things are falling nicely into place. I mean, the record signups are a very good portent of things to come. It means the community is still backing this, and it is for the community. So that is so important. And just looking at all the work that's been going on behind the scenes, there's so many people involved, more than Season 2, more than Season 1. It's getting bigger and better, and I couldn't be more excited.
It is tradition that the season starts with this very stream. The inaugural stream of a season is always the draft lottery. This is what gets things underway and started. This kicks off the season. League play starts on the 9th of September, so that's like 3 and a bit weeks away. And what happens from here tonight is the draft lottery. The same time next week, next Thursday, a week from now, we have draft day. That's where our massive pool of players get picked by the 10 franchises. So what is the draft lottery? Well, there are 10 franchises, and those are the orgs that are involved with RSC Season 3. They will be building the teams, nurturing, shaping, and competing in the season, and they get to pick from this massive pool of players next week, which means that there is an advantage to who gets to pick first. If you think back to school days at break, when all the kids got together, there were 2 captains, and they picked in alternating turns. This is pretty much what the draft pick is, but imagine a lot more students and 10 captains. So that's the basics. But Bromeo, perhaps you can break it down a little further on what we want, what happens by the end of tonight.
Well, look, it sounds fairly complicated, but it's actually really simple. The franchises are gathered here tonight to find out who gets first pick at the total pool of players. Remember, you got Master, Elite, Rival, Prospect, each a separate group of players ranked from high to low. And naturally, as a franchise, you want first pick at that, so you can pick your best players first up off the bat. That's why it's vital that you get a good pick. And if you don't, you better be prepared to trade some of your other picks to improve it just a little bit, because this is season defining stuff, because it's the difference between picking a really, really good player and a not so good player, because 10 franchises came before you and had to pick first.
And it does balance out. It's important to know that the order of picks that come out of tonight is just the first round. There are multiple rounds of picking. So this is the order for the first round. And in the second round, the order reverses. So whoever had the worst of it in round one gets the best of it in round two. But we'll talk about that in a bit more detail. Before we get there, let's talk about two reasons out of many why this is going to be the best season of RSC. And first of all, we have two sponsors. Two sponsors have come on board to help make this the best season ever. And the first of them is a broadcast sponsor. And our is our prize pool sponsor making, and that's already there and locked in. And Bromeo, that's another thing that the last two seasons we've sweated our way through trying to put together some kind of prize pool before league play ends. And here we are at the beginning. We know we got it.
Well, do you know what? This is one of those important things that we hate having to sort out. And how grateful are we that Nixa swooped in and said, don't worry about it. We got you, boo.
So there we go. That's a great start to the season. Two sponsors. But then who is doing the picking tonight? RSC has a process to select the 10 franchises that will be part of our season. And there have been some really high quality applications from organizations who want to be involved in RSC. And I thankfully was not involved with that. Bromeo, I know you were very close to that process, and I know the decisions got very tough in terms of who the ultimate 10 franchises were going to be.
This has been one of the hardest seasons behind the scenes because of one main reason. Everybody who applied deserved to be here. And the biggest tragedy of them all is that there were only 10 spots available. So for the past couple of weeks, we've interviewed the managers and assistant general managers on the rule book, to everything on what they do when they started up their server, their social media presence, everything to do with how well they treat you as a player if we gave them a spot. So trust that every single franchise that you see tonight has been through the hoops to get where they are. So I couldn't be prouder to show them off tonight. And honestly, it has been a privilege, and I'm so excited to work with them.
And it's probably worth just highlighting that it's not just a matter of saying, oh yeah, I'd like to run 4 teams in the RSC. Managing a league of this size, and I'm going to say it again until someone contradicts me, this is Africa's biggest community esport league. There's a lot that goes into it. So there's a proper long detailed rule book of how this all works. They've got to understand it, know their responsibilities to the league, to the players. And these franchises have shown that they know it, they understand it, and they are hungry to be a part of it. So let's introduce to you our 10 franchises for RSC Season 3. Starting alphabetically from the top, we have the Bro community. They've been involved in every RSC season, and the GM is COLORCOLD, and a really passionate person in Rocket League. And Kirica, Bromeo, Kirica's sort of had opportunities. I know she's coaching an all-woman Rocket League team. She's doing great things. And I thought she wasn't going to be involved in RSC this season. So I'm thrilled to see her there. And of course, NaVeDs.
Honestly, the Kirica buff cannot be understated. Remember, Kirica used to head up Valkyrie Knights for the first 2 seasons. She said she just wanted to take a step back, but Bro swooped her up, and she will be instrumental in the coming season, supporting COLORCOLD, and obviously NaVeDs there as well. This is a really, really strong team, and I'm excited to see what their combined powers can get up to.
All right, that's Bro. And then moving on to our next is Critical Force, a new entry into RSC, the general manager Bruv and AGM Swifty.
Man, it looks like they're about to drop a hot R&B album, but Critical Force is one of the new franchises in there, making their debut this season 3. And Bruv is also one of the long-time player in the league, down in the prospects where most of us management are. But they also interviewed incredibly strongly, and I'm excited to see what they can do.
Well, they certainly look like they mean business. Those are proper pictures of them. All right, that's Critical Force. Next up, we have DSQ Esports returning from season 2, and any pictures in time. They have the avatars there, the silhouettes there, but their general manager is Nations, AGM is Flosee from our local scene, and Arid, who's very involved in Six-Mans, coming into the community league now.
Looks like they caught a bit of that RLCS cam, vibe over there, not wanting to reveal their true identities. They are the Batman. They are DSQ. It's one of the few international orgs that we have coming out of EU. But with local AGMs, Flosee and Arid, I am sure that they are going to be very strong this season.
Welcome back, DSQ. Moving on, next franchise up is Dynasty. They were part of our inaugural season, missed out in season 2, but they are back with being helmed by a clever rabbit who's become more and more involved in the community and someone I think has a lot to offer into the community. And then Falcon. I mean, Falcon's a stalwart of Rocket League broadly in SSA, and certainly been with us from the start in RSC. And then their other AGM is Bubusz, who's now changed his name, by the way, to Matty. But a strong lineup.
Is it Matty with a Z as well? Because otherwise it's not the same. But this Dynasty side is also looking really good. They had a very promising first season, skipped out on the second, like you said. But now with the admin buff in their AGM ranks, I am sure that they are also going to have a very strong case this season.
All right, welcome back, Dynasty. We hope it is a good one. Moving on, we have next up Fort Templar, also returning once again to RSC and SSA. Fort Templar has its origins in EU, been involved with RSC and EU for many years. Friday is in fact, you would think he was a lot older with how long he's been involved in community Rocket League. He's at the helm of Fort Templar along with DLynch and Mal.
Well, if you ever wondered how your spreadsheets work, he is the man instrumental in making them work. So when you're checking your rank, know that you have him to thank. So Friday, Mal and DLynch are all EU-based, and they are definitely one of those franchises who know what they're talking about, because almost all of them are admins in the RSC EU. So they're bringing a wealth of experience. So if you do find yourself picked by Fort Templar, know that you're in good hands.
And a little bit of fun fact about Friday is when I first got involved in Rocket League casting back in the height of the pandemic, when we were all stuck at home, and I discovered this wealth of EU league play. It was Friday with the org he was involved with then that got me involved. So I have a little bit of an affinity for Friday and what he does in Rocket League. So that is Fort Templar. So next up from Fort Templar, we move to now probably the best name. The best named franchise in this season's league, the Order of Okes. And I see an interesting picture there, Bromeo. So maybe you can tell us what's what here.
Yo, Machana, we started Order of the Okes, and we just wanted to rock out, just do our thing. And we just wanted some guys who don't take car soccer too seriously, just want to bring the vibes, and that's what we want to bring this season. So I am making my management franchise debut, so I'm hoping for a good one. We won't take it too seriously. So if Bro and Kirica get a little competitive, we'll probably say easy up, guys, easy up.
And then being helmed as the general manager is BeerMasjien, who's also something of a legend coming out of the bro community, a South African who is resident in EU in the Netherlands. And I am thrilled to see the return of Hannibal, who is a legend in the community. He took a little bit of a step back, which I cried about often, and to see him being back and involved makes me very, very happy. And the best of luck to the Order of Okes. And before we move on, Bromeo, you've got to explain this logo, please.
All right. So, you want the deep answer or the superfluous answer?
If the deep answer is long, I'll take the superfluous.
Well, the deep one is, pretty short. It started with some 3 O's. So you see the 3 corners of this magnificent triangle, and it's mixed in with a bit of a Celtic knot, and that's for brotherhood or boothood, as we do here in South Africa. So it's not that deep, but it's also kind of deep. It depends on how deep you're feeling.
Well, nicely done. I see someone in chat saying that BeerMasjien looks a bit like James McAvoy, and I think that's an excellent comparison. So welcome to RSC Order of Okes. Moving along. Next up, franchise is Redirect Esports, making their return to SSA RSC. Hazza out of EU and spoodz out of EU. Now, Hazza very, very involved in EU Rocket League, Uni Rocketeers, the University Rocket League scene, as well as RSC. And in fact, last week was very involved in the production of the Uni Rocketeers World Championships. So a legend in that regard, and he'll be GMing Redirect, and AGM is spoodz.
Well, Redirect is also one of those EU-based teams, but they have been so instrumental in making RSC SSA happen. Hazza, who sat in that production seat making these streams run like smooth butter. And with that hair, how could you blame him? He's really at what he does, and I'm really excited to see them back here for season 3.
Welcome back, Redirect, and best of luck to you in the races tonight. So we're coming close to the end of the alphabet, so we move from Redirect on to Shadow Esports. Shadow has been involved in every season of SSA RSC, and SparkyCracked is taking on the role of GM, a youngster in the SSA Rocket League community who's becoming more and more involved, and I think over time is going to become a massive asset to our scene. And AGM's Mutschuk, who of course is, I'm pretty sure he started Shadow Esports or is in, I'm not very... He did, okay. Mutschuk, Austrian? Is he Austrian, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
I'm so glad I got that right. I live in terror of getting Austrians mixed up with Germans. So Mutschuk, welcome back. And then SAMBO, that's not a name I'm not familiar with. I don't know if he's been involved with RSC in the past.
Well, Sambo is new to this. He is EU, so you would not have heard of him before, but they are all bringing a huge amount of passion. And SparkyCracked AGM'd for Shadow last season, so he's been given the nod to take over the helm, and I couldn't be more proud for him. And backed up by the Mr. Shadow himself, Mutschuk, this is going to be a formidable opponent this season. Just you watch.
And worth mentioning that Mutschuk has been intimately involved with Community Rocket League in EU for some years, RSC, ERS, very involved in helping bring RSC to SSA. So absolutely one of those fixtures in the community scene in Rocket League, and also involved now with, being a franchise in RSC. So Shadow Esports, best of luck. Good to have you returning. And that brings us to UnitOX, which is an interesting name. And this is a blend of Unity and Ox. Was it Ox Gaming, Bromeo?
Ox Gaming is correct. So this was an interesting amalgamation of orgs, because Ox was running in EU. Unity was running in SA, but now that VuDu is based overseas, he's been cross-pollinating, and it's one of those things that they just decided to combine forces, go Super Saiyan level 2, become UnitOX. It's a little bit weird, still getting behind the logo, but this is a face that we have seen in the scene for so long. VuDu's been heading up Unity and Hecky with Ox, so make no mistake, these boys know what they're doing.
And of course, VuDu involved with Unity, involved with SSA Rocket League from the start of our introduction to RLCS, and even before that. So been going a long time. And as the lyric says, how do you do the VuDu that you do? UnitOX, great amalgamation. We'll see how the name UnitOX fares. And in the season 3 of RSC, and that then brings us to last but most certainly not least, XP Esports. And Bromeo, the first thing you've got to do is tell me how to say the GM's name properly. I've gone with AAOKY, which just doesn't seem right. But what is the take on that?
Well, this might be rude of me, but I don't think I've ever asked. I just call him AAOKY.
AAOKY, okay. So I go AAOKY, you go AAOKY. Okay, maybe AAOKY will tell us if he's here in chat. He can give us a pronunciation guide on his name. And he's joined by SLOWPOKES, who has I'm pretty sure definitely competed last season. I'm not sure if he was in season 1 as well.
Was indeed.
He was, okay. And then, of course, Shin, who's also been in and around and involved in the community for a while.
Well, it's been fantastic to see these guys come along. AAOKY and SLOWPOKES was my teammate in Shadow last season, so I'm super chuffed to see him taking up a management role, getting more involved in this, and no less to say that XP Esports is another amalgamation of franchises, Xenon Esports and Pandacity. So that is why they are called XP.
And you get points for not saying Panda City, because I know that irks them all. But Pandacity
I was so tempted. But they deserve the respect. They're up here. They're interviewed. I will call them XP Xenon Pandacity.
Excellent stuff. All right, so there you go. Welcome to all of our franchises. We are delighted to have you. Good luck to you all. And that now, Bromeo, brings us to the heart, the main reason for this stream tonight. We are going to decide the round 1 order of picking. And I know we've gotten very deep and scientific about how to make this work. So break it down for us.
Well, we were sitting long and hard thinking, how on earth do we decide who goes first in this draft? Who picks first? How do we do that in an unbiased manner? So we sat and we thought, and Marble Races, it is the only way to do this without hurting too many feelings unless you come last. So in essence, we are racing some marbles down a hill, and with labels attached for each franchise so that you know exactly what's going on. And the order in which they finished is the order in which they will pick come draft day.
So 4 races, 1 for each tier, to determine the order of picks in round 1 for each of those tiers. We're going to be starting with the prospect tier, then rival, then elite, and then the master tier. And we thought a pretty cool way to maybe introduce some of the casters that have signed up for season 3 is each race is going to be cast. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get down to business. Let's get down to business. And for casting, calling the action for the prospect tier marble race, I hand you over to Muzz and Hoj.
Well, I have to say thank you very much, Greybeard. Apart from that, it's Hodge, by the way. But yeah, apart from that, anyway, we'll move on. Let's get things kicked off for season 3. I tell you what, when I was little, I used to play with marbles and use building blocks to make marble runs. It was a lot of fun. But today is anything but fun for these 10 franchises as we begin the chaos of season 3 with the marble draft. So, as I'm joined by Muzz here, without further ado, kick off the prospect marble race. Are you ready, Muzz?
Oh yeah, ready, firing. It's going to be action-packed, yeah, Hodge, and underway they go. And we've got a massive funnel ahead of us. Yeah, I don't know, how teams are going to tackle this thing. Seems the wide bend is the option, yeah, Hodge.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to say, when I was showing the video of this, I was in the lead for the majority of this race when we were showing the video of how it works. And then I was in the lead right until the end, and then I ended up coming 9th. So anything can happen on this race. Doesn't matter where you are towards the end. It's about how you finish. And, well, let's find out the results as we get things kicked off. Teams making their way down this funnel here. As you already see, Critical Force out in the lead here, closely followed. Well, I say closely. There's quite a gap between first and second, but everyone else followed, quite closely next to each other here, Muzz.
Yeah, Dynasty seeming pretty close there. 4 Templar behind them as well. Shadow and Order of the Okes there. I don't know if BeerMasjien, he looks like Professor X, Charles Xavier, so that's a nice, decent look. But yeah, Critical Force going all the way there. Dynasty. 4 Templar. Who's at the back there? Is it DSQ? Is it Bro? Is it UnitOx? Man, they are slower than a sloth on a good day.
Well, let's see if they're able to make a comeback here towards the end of the race. We'll have to find out, because right now Critical Force is just gapping everyone. They're just making it look easier, making it look like it's just a casual walk in the park. But well, right now it seems like Dynasties might be catching up a little bit, as Critical Force may have bumped into a few corners on the way round that spiral, and Dynasty is hot on their tail. Critical Force, though, still managing to edge out the lead, and if you have a look towards the back of the queue there, we do have a sort of last 3, but here we are, we've entered the final section. Straight through, they're going to claim first place. Who's going to get second? It is going to be UTOX. 4 Templar following Shadow as well. The teams are just rolling in, but can anyone from the back pull an upset here?
Maybe. Order of Okes. Can you do it? Get down, there it is. Oh, last place, DSQ. So that's going to be DSQ last draft for the prospect tier.
Well, unfortunate for DSQ, but if you're Critical Force, that is absolutely brilliant for the likes of them, and that's exactly what you need when you're debuting here in RSC SSA for the first time. And what a great welcome to have that first pick in the draft going forward next week. So I mean, prospect, that's all wrapped up. As you see the scores there on your screen, it is Critical Force taking it home, and the rest of the remaining teams on your right there. I have to say, DSQ, I really feel for them. They missed out on a title. They got to semis every single time in Season 2 in playoffs. And I was joking with the GM at the time, going, you're just getting really unlucky. And it seems like it's happened all again. They've gotten 10th place in the first draft. So, we'll have to see how it goes for them in the remaining 3 and how it goes for everyone else. But that is the first race wrapped up, the prospect race wrapped up. And I believe we're going to send it back to our hosts, Greybeard and BeerMasjien.
So Critical Force making a banging start, a banging welcome to RSC, finishing way up there at the top, and then UTOX, BeerMasjien, I beg your pardon, DSQ, maybe saving it for the swim back, the big master tier.
Wow, that was a really impressive start by Critical Force, and alas, I was watching the Okes not do so well, and I'm happy they managed to claw in a 9th, but DSQ is not going to be happy.
All right. But let's not forget, and it's worth mentioning again now. So this is the first round order of picks, which does mean it kind of snakes. So in round 2, so after every franchise has picked their first prospect player, it then reverses. So DSQ, and maybe there's some strategic thinking there, Bromeo. DSQ in round 2 get to pick first.
Yeah, so how it works is the last person to pick in the first round gets first pick in the next one, so they go back to back. So in essence, they get 2 picks in a row, which is really powerful. So if you know who you want, and you're certain that they're not going to be picked up in the first 9, there is no harm in picking 10th, because you get to pick 2 of your strongest players early on. So yes, getting to pick the top ranked player is the best, but at the end of the day, it's not all doom and gloom.
It never is. It never is. The entire point of RSC is for it to never be doomed and or gloomed. All right, that is our prospect tier taken care of. Next up, our rival, and I don't know if you have this info. I mean, look, signups are still open for another 6 days, so the exact level of the tiers is yet to be decided. But generally speaking, the rival tier is what sort of rank, Bromeo? Do you know offhand?
I will tell you exactly what that rank is. So if we're having a look at where it is currently, let me just pull it up for you. Rival goes all the way currently, because it will be adjusted, from 1240, which is basically
Champ 2-ish.
Champ 1. Yeah. And all the way to 1445.
Wow.
Which
in
is
rival.
Rival, yeah.
That is crazy stuff. All right, well, let's get the rival show on the road. We are ready for the rival master race. Master race? That's a terrible way to say it. The marble race coming up. And to take us through that, we have Worty and once again, Mers.
Oh, here we go. We're back. He joining me, the real big pro here of the RSC, but here we go. Rival tier. Worty, and I suppose there's just, you cannot predict who's going to win yet because it's so ultra random.
I mean, that's the great fun about all of this randomness. You know, everybody gets an opportunity to come first, come last, and at the end of the day, it decides your picks. So it's kind of important to have faith in the RNG, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I think I was saying that on our live comms kind of during the week. I'm like, it's just RNG at the end of the day, you know, kind of you win, you lose. You can be Critical Force, you can win, or you can be DSQ. You can come stone last. I don't know. Hey, that's a bit of an awkward one, but it is what it is.
I mean, let's see what happens here in this second race as we have Bro starting up here in front. Ooh, also in front. UnitOx holding up the rear as we go into the first final. What are your predictions for this one, Muzz?
I don't know. Maybe Shadow, because Sparky's got such a beautiful afro. So I'm gonna put down a Shadow. No bias at all.
That afro definitely gives him an aerodynamic advantage coming into this first corner. As we see UTOX maybe going down first. Everybody seems to be neck and neck. Dynasty not looking too good though just yet. The first one down should be... Wow, this is taking quite a bit of time. That's a redirect, if I'm not mistaken.
Redirect, but is that a ball in the front that's got no name? So maybe there's just a Ghost of Christmas Past winning the race at the moment, Chan. Yeah, Order of Okes followed by XP. And then, someone no name brand up front there, Worty.
I mean, that's just, it's the time trial run, you know? Just showing us the quickest possible time. Unfortunately, we're not going for any speed runs just yet. Redirect, though, seems to be happy in lead. XP coming on close second. DSQ, FT, and CF took that corner a bit wild. And Shadow and UnitOx holding up the rear for now, but still a long ways to go.
Yeah, we got, I don't know where the greybeard chicane is. We'll have to get Bromeo back on later, but XP in the front there, Redirect still doing well. Bro, they're coming in hot. They're fighting Order of the Okes, Not sure if they're trying to get that grudge match just yet. It's a bit early in the season for that, but they're doing okay. They're at the back now, though. Critical Force. They won Prospect, and they don't seem to be winning Rival. Oh, they're climbing up the ranks, though. Oh, almost.
Order of the Okes coming in with a strong performance off of that turn right there. DSQ looking close, Bro as well. FT, it could be anyone's race up until this last part as we come to the conclusion of this race.
Oh, and who's going to pop down here? Someone's going to get through the final first, bro.
Oh, Bro takes it!
Oh, my goodness. All of those. DSQ, Critical. Oh, Critical Force just got pipped for fourth there by 4 Templar. Everyone else coming in slow there. Don't know Dynasty or UnitOx, though. Someone's going to fight for the finish there. Oh, they got through. So, Shadow, UnitOx, my prediction, Worthy, is not looking good at all.
A bit unfortunate for the prediction, but a bit fortunate for Bro and Order of the Okes as they're coming in the first 2 places. UnitOx got a bit unlucky from the beginning of the race. Seems to be a bit slow. But all in all, good draft order for these boys. It's like maybe we could have a solid rival series at our hands.
Yeah, looking good there. So, Bro, able to take on rival first pick, which you heard there from BeerMasjien. Nice high caliber of players. And then, of course, Order of the Okes and DSQ following them. So, yeah, unfortunately, their Dynasty, Shadow, UnitOx, you guys have to see what's at the bottom of the barrel, I guess.
Time to put the afterburners on for the next couple of races, eh? Conserve that boost. And we'll go back. I think we can head back to the desk and see what Greybeard and Brobby have in store for us.
Well, before we get to how pleased you must be feeling about that race, I'll just make a mention of DSQ, who had the worst of it last time, but coming in, what was it, third? I mean, doing a lot better than they did in race 1.
Well, look, Critical Force dropped down to 5th, even though they won the Prospect. So that's a little bit of karma. Order of Okes obviously getting the best result possible, aside from Bro taking tops. And unfortunately, Dynasty, Shadow, and UTOX taking up the bottom of that. So honestly, it's been a bit interesting, but for the top 3, I'm sure they'll be pleased because they didn't do well in the first round.
And I'm just having a quick squiz over chat. VuDu's already claiming that it's rigged. So we got early accusations of rigging in from UnitOx. Bromeo going to be dancing looking at those results. Indeed he is. I think he's pretty pleased. Actually rigged by BeerMasjien. There we go, BeerMasjien. You've been outed by name, bro. They're coming after you personally.
Flosee in chat telling me rigged. DSQ, you still finished well. You mustn't be salty. Just wait for Elite. You don't want that karma on you.
and I think the comment of the night has to be from, I think it was Unguarded Ace, where Unitoxic coming out of VuDu there, just because he's unhappy with the results.
That is one to coin, and very keen to use it in my lexicon going forward. Thank you.
And then just a reminder at this point that of the players that sign up, and we're probably going to realistically, probably 260, maybe as many as 270 players by the time signups close. Every player that signs up and is verified through the whole system does get picked. So for each tier, there are as many rounds as are needed for every player to get picked, which does mean that it is quite possible for a franchise to land up with 5 or 6 players. So maybe BeerMasjien, take us through how that works, because there's only 3 players on a Rocket League team. So if a franchise lands up with 6, what happens then?
Well, so it is very likely that there are going to be about roughly 6 players per squad. And to be a legal RSC team, you need 4. And we don't have subs in RSC because each player on that squad needs to play a requisite amount of games. So each of those 4 players will play. So with the remaining 2, if you are as unfortunate enough not to be selected for the starting team, your franchise will release you back into the free agent pool, which means you will most likely be picked up by another franchise looking to complement their team. So there's so many rounds of going through this that you will ultimately end up on a team. It is highly unlikely that you won't.
We're halfway through the draft lottery, prospect and rival taken care of. Moving now into elite. These now we're getting into the higher level players. So it starts to get pretty tense in terms of the order of the picking. So we're going to have the elite tier race, and bringing us that race are going to be the AGM we referred to earlier, SparkyCracked, joined by RhinoCasts.
Yo, what's good? Rhino, I can't lie, I'm excited for this one. It's the elite tier. We're getting there, we're getting more to the top, closer to that master tier. But yeah, are you excited for this?
I'm super excited. We have seen such crazy things early on in our first two marble races. We've seen some very, very different results as well. And absolutely no rigging of any races has taken place. That is clear to see. So I'm very excited to see what happens in this completely unbiased, untampered with race number 3.
Yeah, and as we go into it, we see we got Shadow. I'm personally siding with them. No personal reasons, you know. I just think their name looks pretty cool. And all the others here going into it as 4 Templar, bro, looking to take another one on the top here.
Yeah, they are. It's going to be very, very close indeed, you would think, as it's going to be DSQ leading the line as they come down this kind of funnel area, and holding up the back of the pack is Triple O. So people have said that Bromeo needs to come last in this race. Well, it's looking like maybe that could be happening as DSQ lead us heading into the long stretch of the main marble run.
And I think that the first marble out of this loop does stand a good chance. It's a nice head start, you know, puts you in the running, but it's not a clear indicator. And there's still a lot going on here as we hit the boost pads, each marble gaining that slight boost. I'm pretty sure some orgs in chat here would just love to just hit like a command to just boost them over. But right now, this is the only section with that. And as we see, DSQ still in front, whipping through these darts as XP closely follows behind.
Yeah, it's going to be very tight as we come into the first kind of fork in the road, and it's going to be Bro who gains some grounds there. DSQ still leading the way, but you might expect Bro to come out second or third. Redirect still with them, and actually that's a big catapult from Redirect. They're still just behind DSQ. Bro again coming through. That Bro community is strong, and the allegations will continue onto Bromeo if that continues to happen as DSQ and Redirect leading the line, but Bro very, very close on their heels as we now fall into that final kind of funnel area.
And both the top two here deciding to take route on the right, but Bro leading to the left as they lead this final stretch. Shadow dead last, XP as well, but Redirect trying to come through at the back here, but Bro takes first win. Redirect slowly follows. And as we see that, they might have personally beaten a record here.
Yeah, it is. I mean, finishing us now is DSQ XP. It's going to be UTOX as well, FT, all happening. Now it's about the last two. It's Triple O to finish that one off, and Shadow just going to take their time to fall into the final thing. I think this is maybe what we were warned about. It's going to take a while. Shadow really do not want this positioning. If there could be an 11th, I think they might have finished there as they're just trying to get around this final part. Everyone's waiting in the bottom pit. They're just like, come on now, you know, we want to go home. We've got things to do. And Shadow Esports is saying, we're going to take our time. We know we're last. We're going to make you wait for it. We are simply just going to stop here. And hey, Sparky, that's your team.
We try to beat a record, but not the one to come first, the one to come dead last, okay? We want to be the longest marble on this map. Oh, we get burnt.
At long last, Shadow are able to take that 10th spot, even though it was sorted out beforehand. But another win for Bro, Sparky, and I don't think Bromeo's beaten these allegations.
No, surely not. But yeah, that was a tough one to watch at the end. I can't lie. DSQ coming in third place, VuDu second, XP fourth, and UTOX fifth. 4 Templar 6 and Dynasty 7th. All in all, doing really well. We saw CF win the first one, and now they're 8th in the rival elite tier. Sorry.
Yeah, and you also can see their order of Okes finishing 9th as well. So it's not all gone Bromeo's way. There is still, you know, a lot of things to consider there. Redirect and DSQ will probably be very happy with their positionings in this one as well. And yeah, Shadow just trolling at the end, which I appreciate. But that is your elite order. We are ready to go back to the desk as we set up for our final marble race of the day.
Man, oh man, bro, they are eating well, Bromeo, out there. They're doing fabulous things.
This is, you know, one of those bittersweet moments. I found it, bro. I love bro, but right now I hate bro. And, you know, coming in 9th again. Oh, that really, really hurts. But props to Redirect coming in 2nd place, and DSQ another strong finish in 3rd. And it looks like XP's also finishing a couple mid-tables there in 4th. So it's going to be really interesting to see, because Bro has obviously got 2 first-place finishes. They're in a very good position in these both rival and elite. So I'd be interested to see the trades coming in here, because somebody has to stop Bro.
And you know what? And with all these things, there are going to be happy people, there are going to be frustrated people. But I have to, on behalf of Shadow, express a little bit of shock, because to me, almost since season 1, it feels like Shadow get the worst of these races. They just always, and then we saw them there like, yeah, we're going to take our time. We're going to take forever to finish. But man, and Mutschuk, he works so hard. He contributes so much, and his poor team can't finish high in a marble race.
I could see that Austrian keyboard getting smashed right now, and very big props to SparkyCracked for keeping it together on stream. That must have been heartbreaking, because I've never seen a marble race end like that. It went on for so long. They were so far behind that they had to be flame cleared. I didn't even know that was a thing.
All right, well, there you go. Shadow, the good news, you get to pick first in round 2. But that brings us to the final race of the evening, and there's no other way to say it other than, Bromeo, it is the master race.
PC, of course, above everyone else as we start moving forwards here in our master race. It is going to be our final marble race of the day. I am joined by Worty, and my goodness, what a night of action. Some highs, some lows, but it all comes down to the big one happening right now.
Of course, this is where you get to pick your favorite South African pro as your first pick. That's all I'm saying. No advertising. But hopefully we don't have another 40-second wait, hey? Let's see how this race goes, shall we?
Yeah, here we go. It's lights out, and away we go down the initial ramp as we get straight into the funnel. A few teams going to feel like they are moving forwards, and Shadow actually getting a good jump off the line, starting very strong, something we've not seen them do in the previous races, but they've taken a very high line here. It's going to be DSQ to take the lead as we head down towards the bottom of this funnel.
This is exactly what they needed. I feel like their pit stop strategy was not looking good in that last race, but they're looking to change things up with for Templar coming in. Okay, Bro, and then DSQ coming down that funnel first, actually. Bit of change of pace. If Bro win again, I feel like we're going to get some allegations thrown at us.
Oh, I think we've already got allegations thrown at us, to be quite honest with you, Worty. I don't think there's any avoiding that. It's going to be DSQ and Bro taking each other on for top spot here. Redirect are still in the mix, though. And then we've got another pack a little bit further back. It's going to be Order of Okes with Shadow. And that is also going to be UnitOx and CF, Critical Force, of course, back in that kind of peloton, back behind the leaders. But these front 3 look like they are going very, very well as we start making our way down to the forks.
Yeah, these 3 seem to be on a completely different race pace. That group at the back as well got a bit slowed down on those loop-to-loops. And DSQ seemed to be making good pace, coming up first, but they hit that pylon. So do Redirect. Yeah. Could be another opportunity for Bro to come past, and they hit it as well. So nice little group of 4 coming in. Yeah, Shadow and UnitOx picking up the pace, closing the gap by quite a few seconds, but we'll see who ends first.
Yeah, the peloton have now joined the leading pack. It's going to be Order of Okes now starting to pressure the leaders as we start to move down into this final funnel. Redirect lead us there Will DSQ challenge? Who's going to drop first? Redirect have the first chance, and we'll find it as well. Number 1 goes to Redirect, falling just behind his order of Okes and G at DSQ. Bro coming 4th, and now they are dropping quickly. Fort Templar also dropping Shadow, UnitOx, and now we are just left with 1. That is Dynasty pulling up the rear. Worty, what a race.
Honestly, a very good ending there, considering what it was looking like at the beginning. I think 1 or 2 from those back markers actually made a good charge at the end. Redirect though, were looking strong from the beginning, and that's where they end up.
Yeah, absolutely. Shadow moving up a few places than they've seen tonight as well, which will be very beneficial to them. The Bromeo allegations are coming in with positions 2 and 4, with Order of Okes and Bro Community, of course, getting very high finishes. DSQ will be happy with their finish as well. So, I mean, Worthy, yeah, I think the big winners probably here compared to the other leagues at least is probably Shadow at least. And then Redirect, of course, getting that first pick, which is going to be a really big benefit to them.
Yeah, 100%. Order of Okes, DSQ, they're getting really good picks for this first draft, and it's going to make a fairly big difference. But then again, you still have to pick 2 other players. Your first pick doesn't necessarily win you any games, so it'll be interesting to see who these teams go along with as we move on to the end. We'll run it back to our... Oh, sorry.
Sorry, it certainly will. But as you just mentioned, that is all of the marble races done. Every single position is now sold for our draft. So we are going right back to the hosts, which are, of course, Greybeard and Bromeo. Take it away, gents.
And there you have it. I mean, the season is underway. We've got our order of picks. And maybe, Bromeo, you should run us through what happens now, between now and draft day, because there's a lot of behind-the-scenes chaos from the end of this stream to the start of next Thursday's stream.
Well, you see, now what happens is plotting, scheming, and subterfuge, because franchises are allowed to trade their picks, just like in the NFL. If DSQ realizes that, you know, they don't need as high a place as they landed in Master, they can trade it off for a prospect pick or 2. And so not all of this is set in stone, because it depends on the negotiating power of the management team in each of these franchises. So make no mistake, there will be changes, and come draft day, you will definitely see a couple of interesting things. Maybe a franchise picking twice in the first round purely because they traded away a stronger pick elsewhere. So there is going to be a lot of backstabbing, a lot of crying, a lot of drama, but I'm here for it. I'm here.
In next week's stream, where every player gets picked, and that is by its nature a very long stream. We go through every tier, every player, every franchise. Every pick will happen live in front of your eyes on stream. And as we come to the close, I just want to, any suggestions for who we should raid? Because I want to raid someone when we're done here. And as I look at the channels we're following, I don't, you know, there's people like Lawler and Rizzo, and they don't need our followers. If there's an SSA streamer we should be raiding, please do let me know in chat. But I want to run through just one more time our sponsors. We have 2 fabulous sponsors for this season of RSC. First up, we have our broadcast sponsor, Genisus Extreme, who are esports, professional esports broadcasters. They've made a name for themselves in the sim racing scene and moving now into Rocket League, and they have taken on the responsibility to put on professional broadcasts for RSC through our draft lottery tonight, draft day, the entire league, and the all-important playoffs at the end of the season. They will be our partners from here to the end. And then we have our highest ever prize pool. Locked in before the start of league play, Nixa will be giving us 18,000 Rand or into the prize pool, which will be distributed at the end of playoffs. So to Genisus Extreme and Nixa, welcome to RSC. We are thrilled to have you.
Honestly, it's such a pleasure to see this little community league that we started turn into what it is today. Season 3, the triple commit is bigger, badder, better than it has ever been. And the 12 weeks of what we are going to be running leading up into all of this is going to be immense. And I am so pumped.
Brilliant stuff. Well, just like that, our draft lottery is coming to an end, and I want to thank our casters for stepping in. So Muzz and Hodge and Werty and Rhino and SparkyCracked. Thanks for stepping in and being part of it tonight. And I think we're going to end off. Bromeo, I'm going to let you close while I initiate the raid. We're going to be raiding Jerome Moment.
Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. Well done to Bro for taking the gloating rights on all of this. And I know DSQ and UnitOx are busy rioting outside. Obviously, I'll only leave the studio when it's safe to me for me to leave. So, Greybeard, thank you so much for joining us on the stream tonight. It has been fantastic, and I cannot wait for draft day. Same time, same place next week.
A full week minus 1 hour from now, Thursday, the 22nd of August, 8 o'clock, right here. Join us for draft day. But RSC Season 3 triple commit is underway. So from me, Greybeard, and TheBromeo,